Alright guys, this is Alfonce Murungaru and I'll be presenting on POP3, IMAP, and SMTP. POP3, Post Office Protocol, is a standard mail protocol which is mainly used to receive emails, usually from servers remotely on its local email client. POP3 will allow you to download your messages onto your local computer, and you can be able to access them even when you're offline. This means that the good thing about this is that you can be able to access your emails from multiple and various locations, whichever will be the best option for you. On the other hand, your messages are stored on your local computer, which reduces the space on your email account. The email account is on your web server. By default, the two ports that POP3 uses is port 110. This is a default POP3 non-encrypted port, or the port 995. This is the port you need to use if you want to connect using the POP3 securely. IMAP, Internet Message Access Protocol, is a mail protocol used for accessing email on a remote web server from a local client. IMAP and POP3 are the most commonly used internet mail protocols for retrieving emails. Both protocols do support all modern email clients and web servers. The difference is, while POP3 protocol assumes that your email is being accessed only from one application, IMAP allows you to simultaneously access it from multiple clients. This is why IMAP tends to be more suitable to be used if you're going to access email from different directions, or if you want email to be managed by many different users. Hence, that's why it's the most common email protocol to be used by many businesses. The two ports which the IMAP works on is the port 143. This is a default non-encrypted port. The port 993. This is the port you need to use if you want to connect securely to a server. The Dovecot IMAP. Dovecot is an open source IMAP and POP3 server, usually for Linux systems. Is written with security being the main backbone as to why it was written. Is an excellent choice for both small and large installations. It's very fast and simple to set up. Some of the features on the Dovecot is Dovecot is among the highest performing IMAP servers who are still supporting your standard inbox and formats. Dovecot is standard compliant. It means it passes all the IMAP standard compliance tests. Dovecot indexes are self-optimizing, that they contain exactly what the user client needs, no more, no less. Dovecot also tries to be very admin-friendly. Common error messages are made as easily understandable as possible, and a crash, no matter how it happened, is considered a bug that will be fixed. When it comes to Dovecot, the user authentication is very extreme, very flexible, and easy to be accessed by the user. It's also very easily extensible, means that plugins can add new commands and modify the existing behavior and add their own data into the system without any much of a hassle. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, or SMTP. It's a server that handles the sending of your email messages to the internet. The server will mainly handle your outgoing email in conjunction with the POP3 all IMAP incoming email server. SMTP has three default ports. Port 25, which is your non-encrypted port. It has port 2525. The port is opened and filtered and if you want to send any non-encrypted emails with SMTP, and we have the port 465, this port is used if you want to send messages using the simple mail transfer protocol securely. Some of the SMTP commands include hello. This command function is sent by a client to identify itself, usually with a domain name. We have EHLO, which enables the server to identify its support for extended simple mail transfer protocol commands. We also have a command mail from, which identifies the sender of the message and is used in the form of mail from, exactly as it is as a command. We also have the RCPT2, which identifies the message recipients used in the form. Some other commands that we have that I did not mention are turn. Turn allows the client and the server to switch roles and send mails in reverse direction without having to establish any new connections. I also have one RSET, which nullifies the entire message, transactions, and resets your buffers. Last but not least, we have, of course, quit, which terminates your session. SMTP Linux, we have XM. XM supports a number of different ways in which you can use your SMTP protocol. Usually it operates, SMTP will operate over the TCP IP protocol. It will have a standard input. Incoming messages are accepted one or two ways. They can either be accepted as using the inetd, or you can use a listening daemon. The verify and the VRFI and expand commands, when XSIM receives a VRFI or EXPN command on a TCP IP connection, it runs a ACL specified by a command which is usually ACL SMTP VRFY. And when it runs this command, it decides whether the command should be accepted or not. When the verify is accepted, it runs exactly the same code as when XSIM is called. When the EXPN is accepted, a single level expansion of the address is done. EXPN is treated as an address test, if there's any rejections with the commands, all the commands are logged onto the main and it will reject the logs. Best practices. POP3. You can you can set the mail store on a volume other than the one which the operating system is installed. This is because potentially the mail store, you use large amounts of disk space. You should either set a disk quota limit on the volume of the mail store, which will control its disk usage, or you can set it to use a volume other than the one where the operating system is installed. What this does, this prevents the possibility of the OS running out of disk space. Number two, you can either set the bad mail directly on a volume other than which the OS system is installed on. When an email is not delivered, the SMTP service returns it to the sender with a non-delivery report. If this non-delivery report cannot be delivered to the sender, a copy of the message is put in the bad mail directory. To prevent the possibility of the OS running out of disk space, it's good to set the bad mail directly to a volume other than which the OS is operating on. You can also allocate adequate disk for the mail store to ensure that you allocate adequate disk space to the mail store. Estimate the amount of disk it will need based on the number of users on the server, the volume of the email they will receive, and the average size of the email they will receive. Last but not least, it's also a very good practice to enable your SSL and the TL certificates. IMAP. The best practice to practice when you're operating on the IMAP is to enable your SSL and your TLS certificates. To add security to your IMAP, you just need to add your SSL and TLS encryption as a layer of underneath to the existing protocol. The IMAP uses the port 143, but the SSL and the TLS encrypted IMAP uses port 993. So the mechanisms which you can use to add each protocol to tell the client is that the plain text protocol supported. You upgrade your SSL, TLS, and they should not attempt to log in without doing the start TLS upgrade. One of the best practices when you're operating with the SMTP, you can use SMTP relay. It is essential that you do not allow anonymous relaying to your SMTP virtual servers. An open relay allows someone sending spam to use your external servers to send messages on their behalf. This activity will likely cause your gateway servers to be listed as spam relay on the internet block lists. In its default configuration, Exchange will allow only authenticated users to relay mail. Only authenticated users can use your Exchange to send email to an external domain. If you modify the default relay setting to allow unauthenticated users to relay, or if you allow open relaying to a domain through a connector, unauthorized users or malicious worms can use your server to send spam. If you have any legitimate reasons for relaying, you should follow the guidelines for making sure that security is preserved in your implementation. This is mainly done by leaving the deny all faults and adding only the IP addresses from which you will accept relayed mail, and disabling access for authenticated users. How to configure your POP3, configuring using the dovecode POP3. You do so, you open the default configuration file, you type in the command as it follows. This command will enable your POP3 and IMAPs. You make sure your POP3 and your IMAPs are enabled, which is the protocols IMAPs and POP3. Next, you must set up your PAM encoded certificate, SSL certificate, and private key. They are opening before dropping your root privileges, so keep the key file unreadable to anyone but the root. If the key file is protected, give the password using the SSL key password directive, and then you can save and close the file, and then you have to restart the dovecode system. How to IMAP. You need to configure the same exact process as configuring the POP3 server. You need to enable your POP3 and IMAPs. Open your default configuration file with the command that as it follows. You also need to make sure that your IMAPs are enabled. Next, you must set your SSL, TLS certificate, and private key. They are opened before dropping the root privileges, so keep the key file unreadable by anyone but the root. If the key file is password protected, give the password using the SSL key password directive, which is the command that follows. Save and close the file and follow the same steps and restart the system. How to for your SMTP Windows, you need to open a server manager, choose manage, and then install roles and features. You also need to click next until you get the features and scroll down to your SMTP server and check the box. Then after all this, you need to hit OK to all the dependencies and click next, then finish. You let the installer run all the way to completion before moving on to the next step. Then you need to open the tools, then the manager. You'll find the local server listed that you just installed your SMTP on. Right click on the local server name and choose properties. In the properties menu, click access at the top of the relay at the bottom. Set the individual IP addresses of the LAN devices that need SMTP relay without authentication. Then this needs to be followed by followed by clicking the delivery tab at the top of the properties and choose the outbound security. Then click on the radio button next to the basic authentication and set the smart host user that will be used to send email. If you need TLS, choose that checkbox at the bottom. You also need to choose the delivery tab, then advanced at the bottom. Set the server URL for the outgoing server that requires the authentication. Gmail, Outlook, whatever you're using. ISP and SMTP servers can all be used to send email. Lastly but not least, you need to go around and set all the devices that need SMTP relay to point to the new SMTP server you just set up and test. And that would be all for my presentation. And those are my references. Thank you.